What's up, YouTube? I am excited to be back with you folks today, and I've got another good video for you. Today, I'm going to be going through my experience with Project Fi. Now, if you haven't heard of Project Fi, this is Google's cell service. So think Verizon, T-Mobile, at&t, only it is Google. They are the ones providing the service. And they're a lot different than these other carriers, hence why I wanted to make this video and go over it for those who have never heard of it, or maybe you're considering it and you're going through YouTube trying to figure out if this is the right move for you. I was originally with Sprint, and I have been with Sprint for years. In fact, my entire life I have been with Sprint. And my wife and I, our leases were coming up this past November for our iPhone 6s, and we needed to, move to a new phone because we lost those with the lease ending. We were going to be getting the iPhone 7 because, I love Apple. I use a MacBook Pro, and we've used iOS for a long time. We've loved it, and I loved the iPhone 7. I thought it was a great phone. So it just made sense, and that's what we were gonna do. But then as I was looking into the pricing, it was expensive, and not that the iPhone was expensive. I mean, it is, but I expected that. It was the plan. Like, I was paying so much to Sprint. My bill for Sprint after taxes and everything was like $175 for both myself and my wife. And we had unlimited calls, text, data, and all of that. And only $2 of that was our lease. We had a special deal through Best Buy and Sprint where we got our iPhone 6s for basically $1 a month for 24 months for this lease. So it was a no-brainer for us. So yeah, really, you're looking at like $170 that we were paying just for our plan. That's not the phones. And I didn't get that same good deal for the iPhone 7s. So I would have been well over $200 for my plan and for either leasing or doing an installment plan with the iPhone 7. And I'm just getting sick of paying so much to these cell phone companies. And I hate dealing with their usually crappy customer support and how long it takes and all these hidden fees that pop up, and your bill's different every single month. You've got to keep an eye on your bill because they could just pop up. So as far as the nuts and bolts of what Project Fi is, it's available in 135 countries, and they don't actually own their own towers. There's no Google cell towers anywhere. They have an agreement with Sprint, T-Mobile, and US Cellular. I have a hard time saying cellular. Weird word. Anyway, those three companies are the ones that they have an agreement with. So wherever you're going around the world, your phone is constantly looking at which of those networks is going to give you the best experience, and it will just automatically switch between those. So it's $20 for the first user, and that includes unlimited calls, unlimited text, which is really, standard for 2017. And then for any additional users, that's $15 per extra user. And then on top of that, if you want data, which of course you want data, that is going to be $10 for every gigabyte you add to your plan. So my wife and I signed up, and we each just got 3 gigabytes for both of our phones. So a total of 6. And it turns out we hardly used any of that. After our first month, as a couple, we used a total of 2.2 gigabytes out of the 6 that we purchased. That's the cool part about Project Fi, is that you only pay for what you use. So if you purchased 6 gigabytes of data, but you only used 4, you're gonna get $20 credited back to your account the following month. And if you happen to go over 1 month, you're not gonna get any overage fees or any penalties like that. They simply just charge you for what you used. So it's super fair, it's very predictable, you don't have to worry about hidden costs. What you see is what you get, and that's what I love most about Project Fi, and that's the big reason I pulled the trigger on Project Fi. Now, it is limited to only a select few Android phones. You've got the Google Pixel, you've got the Nexus 6P, and then you've got the Nexus 5X. So if you don't have those phones, you're out of luck right now. I hope that it will expand in the future to more phones. It's probably going to be a long time, if ever, if they get iOS phones on there. But since these are, the closest phones to Google made, it made sense for them to roll it out on these phones. And that's the reason most people have never heard of Project Fi. Now, when I set up my plan, it was super simple. It was like setting up a Gmail. Really, like I just logged in with my Google account, filled out the information, hit a purchase, and I was good to go. Phones were on their way, they arrived, and when they showed up to my house, you have to put in the SIM card yourself, and it actually came with this in the box. And if you open it up, you've got this little card right here, and normally that's the SIM card that's inside there, but you pop that out, and then it comes with this little paper clip that they've put on there that's perfectly sized for a Google Pixel. Opens it up, pop the SIM card in, sign into your correct Google account. It comes with a special little adapter that will connect to the iPhone, and I was good to go. Within 5 minutes, I had my phones up and running. Cell was working, text was working, internet, all of that stuff. I have read articles, I read one, I think, on like TechCrunch or The Verge, and this guy was just going off about how complicated the experience was. And I did not have that. Maybe I got lucky. Maybe this has changed. I mean, I set this up the very end of November of 2015. But it couldn't have been easier to get these set up. We both kept our same numbers. You do have the option of canceling that number and starting a new number if you're interested in doing that. But yeah, the setup was boom, easy. So all in all, our bill after the installment plan, because we chose an installment plan because it's actually 4 cents cheaper per phone than buying it upfront in cash, which was odd. So we did that, and after that, our bill, it was like $140, and that's after tax. Now, if I were to stay with Sprint and then do a 24-month installment plan for the comparable iPhone 7, that would have ran us around $215 after tax. So a huge price difference. We're talking $70 to $80 a month cheaper going with Project Fi than sticking with Sprint. Now again, disclaimer, that was my situation. Some of you might be paying a lot less, some of you might be paying more, and you're now really considering a move to something like Project Fi. But it wasn't even the price that made me switch. I really just wanted to get out of all carriers. Just because I'm sick of dealing with like the gotcha pricing and the slow and often crappy customer experience. Now, one big downfall of Project Fi is that there is no supported HD voice. They claim they're working on it. I'm not sure if that's ever going to happen. Your voice is not as crystal clear as you would have with Verizon or Sprint, T-Mobile, at&t. It's not that the Google Pixel doesn't support it. It does. But Project Fi does not. So you do notice that difference where you sound a little bit muffled. And I was so used to just HD voice when I was on the iPhone with Sprint because Sprint supported that. However, I don't really use phone calls a lot. I often try to avoid phone calls and just use text or Slack or whatever. So that wasn't a huge problem for me. Now, the other annoying thing is that by default, you just have their standard voicemail greeting or message, and you can't change it.
The Project Fi subscriber you have called is not available. Please leave a message after the tone.
So yeah, not the coolest voicemail message. Now the upsides of Project Fi. I have never waited more than 30 seconds to chat with a sales or customer service rep. You can download an app onto your phone. It's the Project Fi app, and you can easily track your usage. You can manage your billing. You can also do this from the web dashboard as well. And the customer service has just been awesome. I've never had a bad experience. And it also does a really good job at saving your data. So I have the Google Pixel and I have data saver mode turned on. So it's, not pulling data from apps that aren't being used. And that helps a little bit, but just by default, Project Fi is really, really good about identifying Wi-Fi networks and switching to them. So the big disclaimer here is most of my day is spent here in the office or at home. Both places I've got super fast Wi-Fi. If I'm listening to Spotify in the car, obviously that's going to be using data. But even most places I go to, like if I'm waiting at a car dealership or something like that, most of these places have complimentary Wi-Fi now. So I don't use a lot of data. On average, even though I'm on my phone all of the time, I'm only using like 1.2 gigs a month. You may be traveling all the time and in places where Wi-Fi is not available. And so in that case, Project Fi might not make financial sense because you need something like unlimited data, or you're paying for a lot of data at a cheaper rate than what Project Fi offers. So would I recommend Project Fi? The answer is yes. So this is what forced me to use the Google Pixel, and if you're cool using this phone, then Project Fi is awesome, assuming you're not traveling all the time and constantly having to use a lot of data. Otherwise, it can get pretty expensive, but not even from a financial standpoint. The customer service, the straightforward pricing, the ease of tracking and managing your account, it's just been awesome. I felt very free since ditching the big cell networks and going to something like Project Fi. So if you are interested in Project Fi, again, this is not a commercial. Google did not pay me to do this. This is just my honest opinion of Project Fi. But if this is something you want to do, this is limited time. I'm not sure how long Google is going to keep doing this, but it keeps popping up in my account. If you sign up for Project Fi using the link in the description below, you'll get $20 off your plan for like after your first month or something like that. They'll add $20 credit to your account. And I think it only works for like the first 10 people. So if you're really thinking about pulling the trigger, try using this link. Obviously, if you're watching this video at a later date, it may or may not work. Still worth a try. But yeah, there's a link down there below where you can get that $20 credit for switching to Project Fi. So that's it for today. Let me know what your thoughts are on Project Fi, if you are using it, or maybe what your concerns are about Project Fi, and I'll do my best to answer them. If I didn't cover anything, feel free to ask questions in the comment section below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. As of the recording of this video, I'm about to hit 2,000 subscribers, which is really cool. It's small, but it's cool to me. So do me a solid, hit the subscribe button, and I will do my best to keep pumping out good quality videos for you folks. So there you have it, Project Fi. I've got some other good videos coming your way. I'll see you on the next one, folks. Have a good one.